There ain't no fleas on me. There ain't no fleas on me.
Make a fool of yourself. And maybe you'll listen to your
Oh, you know what bugs me? Fleas. Every year it seems that there's one or two pests that are more numerous than normal. There's no definitive way to predict which these will be each year, but in 2017 it seemed to be that fleas and yellow jackets, at least in the Blount County area, were just all over the place, going crazy. As much as I hate yellow jackets, let's deal with the fleas. Fleas are small, laterally flat insects that feed on blood. These are called ectoparasites. Of the almost 2,000 species, 95% occur on animals and 5% on birds. Here in Blount County, we deal mainly with the dog and cat fleas. Now, just because it's called a dog or a cat flea doesn't mean that the dog flea is going to be found on the dog and the cat flea is going to be found on a cat. It's just a name. The cat flea is the most common of the two and will feed on cats, dogs, humans, wildlife, and a little bit of everything in between. In fact, that's only the adults. The larvae that get in your carpet, in your couch, and in the yard will actually feed on just about anything organic. Dead skin, food products, flea poop. It's just they'll eat just about anything. In 1 month, a single female can produce up to 9,000 eggs. She drops the eggs on the animal. They fall off into the carpet or your yard, and if there's no host there in the area for them to feed on, for them to hatch out, they can lay dormant for 6 months, 8 months, depending on what you look at. This is why it seems that sometimes fleas come out of nowhere. Yeah, everything is good to go, and suddenly, boom, you got a bunch of fleas. They're just waiting on a victim. Especially if the structure is vacant. You got a vacant structure, had some flea larvae in it, hadn't hatched out yet, nobody's there's no food. Suddenly you move in, whatever, you go up to fix the place, and there's a million fleas because now there's food there and they're all really, really hungry. They wake up because you rang the dinner bell. Even though the adult fleas feed on the host's blood, which is the dog and the cat, and me and you, the larval stage can feed on dried blood from the host, adult flea feces, pet dander, flea eggs, other larvae. They're just nasty. For most of us, a flea bite is more annoying than dangerous, okay? But there are some who can have an allergic reaction and get severe welts. Everybody reacts to insect bites differently, so you can't identify the bug by the bite. The flea has a siphon tube for a mouth that pierces into your skin. Numbing agents, anticoagulants, things like that are used so you don't feel the initial puncture, and so the blood can flow freely so she can drink. It's basically like puncturing the lid of your cup with a straw. In fact, the order fleas belong to is Siphonaptera, which means sucking tube without wings. God, it's gross. I know it's gross, but that's the way it is. Because of this method of eating, they can transfer diseases. The main one we all remember from school is the plague or the Black Death from the 14th century. That claimed 75 million lives. It lived on rats, but when fleas bit rats, then bit humans, they transferred the disease, causing the chaos we know as the Black Death. Typhus, tapeworm, and skin irritation can also be caused by a flea bite. So there's a lot of stuff to consider as far as safety. Now, the most important step of getting rid of fleas, even more so than a professional treatment, is for you to treat your animals. That's the source. You may see fleas in the yard or in the carpet, but they are living on the animal. That's the food. They're living right next to Burger King. Your dog is Burger King. If you don't have pets, you might have a rat, a mouse, or a wildlife problem. I've seen several over the years that had an animal die in the walls or in the crawl space that had fleas, and when the animal's dead, fleas not feeding on them anymore, so they got to find something else to munch on. 2 recent customers moved the pet to the outside due to the fleas, thinking they were going to get rid of it, and then the population exploded inside because now instead of feeding on the animals, now they're feeding on the people. This happens because previously the animal was taking the brunt of the flea bites. With them moved out from the interior of the house, the humans were the only option for dinner. There's your dinner bell. Fleas prefer furry bodies of our pets because it's easier for them to stay hidden and protected, and they can glue the egg to the base of the hair so it stays there. So even if you see them in the yard, treating the yard without treating the dog is like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. You must begin with the source by treating the animal. I'll let you and the vet decide how to do that, but I will tell you my experience. Most people think they have to go to the vet and buy the expensive flea treatments in order for it to work. Not always the case. I've seen the vet flea treatments fail 1,000 times. Now this could be because it wasn't used correctly, misdiagnosed, whatever. Don't overlook the cheap Walmart stuff. I had a cat that got out for a week and came back with fleas so bad they were on top of each other on the cat's nose. I went to Walmart, got a cheap collar, fixed it in no time after the vet treatment had zero effect. Zero. The conclusion is not that the cheap stuff is better or that the expensive stuff stinks. The conclusion is that every animal in the situation is different. This past year, fleas have gotten really bad, and the Resto collars have been working like gangbusters. So try that one out too. Going off of what the label tells you, do not double up on the treatments. Follow the treatments 100% exactly like the label tells you. It's the law. If you go off of it, you could harm your pet or at least cause the treatment to be ineffective. Besides, it's a violation of federal law to use a pesticide in any way other than what the label tells you. Do what you're told. So, everybody get fleas. Oh, we got to bomb the house. We got to bomb the house. Got to bomb the house. Set off the... Throw the grenade in there and bomb the house. Ain't going to help. Bombing for anything is absolute waste of time. 90% of the customers that call me for fleas have already tried it once, twice, 20 times, put 20 bombs in a little 10 by 10 shack, and it didn't work. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I'll put a link in the description to either a video or another blog about why bombing is a waste of time. So here is, I'm sure, what you really want to know. After you have treated the animal, it's time to bring on death and destruction with the little vampires in your home so you can get back to your Netflix marathon or Bob Ross and his happy little trees. We do this by treating the floor with two types of products. The first kills the flea outright, just kills them, that's it, just kills them, regular old stuff. The second is where the magic happens, an insect growth regulator, an IGR. These are used to break the life cycle. Guess what they do? Regulate growth, imagine that. Yeah, that's right. You get a gold star. IGRs prevent fleas from growing up to the next life cycle. Effectively, it's like flea birth control. Adults are not usually killed by the IGR, but the eggs they produce may not survive because they become sterile and even physically deform their genitalia. The larva and pupal stages of the fleas are unable to grow to the next stage and either die naturally or from exposed to the first product. When this happens, they can't make more little fleas to bite you. For the icing on top of the cake, IGRs wreak havoc by using hormones that humans and pets don't have, and that means it's safer for the environment, safer for us, and safer for little Fido. Before and after treatment, you must vacuum the entire house. If I ever have any issues with flea jobs, it's because the customer didn't do this. They didn't vacuum the house. It's a simple task. It has a huge impact. This removes live fleas, dead fleas, eggs, flea fecal matter, the organic matter that the larva can feed on. It also has the effect of agitating the eggs to hatch out and become exposed to the treatment. In the egg stage, it's very difficult to kill. In nature, when the egg falls off the animal in the woods, that egg can stay dormant for 6 months if there's no food in the area. The vibrations of an animal in the area tell the egg when it's time to eat. Vacuuming every day, at least one time a day, minimum for 1 week. The more the merrier. Employ the whole family and get it done 4 times a day if you can. This will only speed up the process of eliminating the fleas. Hopefully you have a canister type vacuum, otherwise you're going to need some bags, a whole bunch of bags, because every time you vacuum you need to empty the container, double bag it, remove it, and get it out of the house. Remember, you just sucked up a bunch of boy fleas and girl fleas and brought them together in a small space. I guess you can figure out what's going to happen next. 2 weeks after the first treatment, I'll need to follow up with you and see how it's going. Sometimes a second treatment is needed. It's just how it is. One of the first questions I always get asked is about treating the yard. Very rarely is it necessary to treat the yard for fleas, but it can be done if needed. Remember, the animal is the source, not the yard. The only exception to this is in extreme cases or where there's wildlife issues. In 18 years, I have only needed to treat a yard 2 or 3 times, if that tells you how often it needs to be done. So good luck with your flea circus. If you need help, give me a call, give me a text, PM me. The inspections are free. I'll let you know what needs to be done and we'll get it out of there so you're not dinner for a bunch of nasty old siphon mouth fleas. You know what bugs me? Fleas. But I love to kill them.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Like, share, and subscribe so Mama will let me back in the house.
Mice, I thought she had rats.
No, rats are outside. Mice are inside.
Yo, but what if a mouse goes outside? Does it become a rat? And if a rat is in the house, is it a mouse?
I ain't never seen no mouse outside. You know what I'm saying?
That's because it's a rat, fool.
Damn.
Oh, I think I found a rat.
Take it, you dirty yellow-bellied rat, I'll give it to you through the door.
Keep that shade, you filthy animal. This is the rapper.
There ain't no fleas on me.